I'm coming to you today from Nieśwież, Belarus, a small city in the heart of Belarus, a city where pre-war 3,600 Jews lived. This town is a town that many of us wouldn't have heard of, but a town that's incredibly significant because of the story of what happened here. These 3,600 Jews who lived here in Nieśwież lived alongside their Belarusian neighbors. And as the Germans invaded Poland in 1939, September, quite a lot of Jews were able to escape and move towards the Soviet Union, which was relatively safer in that initial period. And some Jews arrived here, bringing up the local Jewish population, where they lived together and built together and worked together, and were able to live here until 1941. In 1941, when Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June, the Jews here came under immediate danger. Some Jews were able to escape further into the Soviet Union, and others stayed. About 4,600 Jews were here at that point. The Jews who lived here at that point were in a very difficult and hard situation. Within a short period of time, the Jews were rounded up in October of 1941. In cold, horrible and dark weather, 4,000 Jews, and marched about 3 kilometers away from this site, where they were taken and put into mass graves, murdered and shot. 685 Jews remained. They remained because they were workers, where they were forced into a ghetto exactly around this area. Barbed wire was placed around them, and they were allowed out to work. A young group of Jews from Hashomer HaTzair, from the Zionist Jewish Youth Organization, decided that something needed to be done. So they started to gather arms. They started to see what they could do, fashioning clubs with metal rods coming out of it, doing whatever they could to ensure that they had some weapons. Local Jewish girls, 2 Jewish girls worked for the Germans, even smuggled guns, stole guns from the Germans. Local Jewish chemists built Molotov cocktails. They were ready. And a few months later, in June of 1941, the Germans came and surrounded this area, along with their Lithuanian counterparts, who, by the way, were also the ones responsible for the mass killings of the Jews, of the 4,000 Jews nearby. The Germans, along with the Lithuanians and local police, surrounded the ghetto. And the Jews, in the first case of an uprising in June of 1941, stood and fought back. With their little weapons, with not the greatest ability to fight, they still decided to do so, killing 40 German and Lithuanians surrounding the ghetto. The uprising didn't last long. Some Jews were able to escape and to move to other places. However, the majority of the 685 brave men and women who fought back were killed here. The Jews of the ghetto rose up in rebellion, led by members of the resistance, among them Sholom Halovaski and Chaim Eliyahu Polacek. Chaim Eliyahu Polacek said, "We ran out, my wife and I, to the communal area. There was a sense of impending destruction. You could see that the moment was drawing near. The decision, reached a day early in the Beit HaMidrash, I will die together with the Philistines, had to be carried out. Not to allow another selection, to set the ghetto alight, to create a commotion. The lucky ones will survive, not to allow anything. No selection, no looting by the Germans, all the good things that the local population, the Christians, were waiting for." And that's what happens. In several places in the ghetto, red flames started to swallow up one house after another. In the area where I was posted, I set fire to the houses. We saw the ghetto burn in flames. And amidst the burning ghetto, people tried to break through the barbed wire. The group of Jews inside the cold synagogue, the Kalte Shul, opened fire on the Germans, standing outside the ghetto, and the battle began. This memorial is for them. This small memorial in this town that once would have had 2 Jewish schools and synagogues is all that remains. It reads to the everlasting memory of the victims of the Holocaust. 700 Jews from Nieśwież ghetto were brutally murdered here during the Rising in June 1942. The memory of these heroes of the first uprising that really made an impact. The local Jews of Mir, a big city that's famous for the Mir Yeshiva that many of us know, were influenced by this action. As a result of this, some of those Jews, some of the people from the ghetto ended up escaping Mir because of the uprising here. So when we hear of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, when we hear of these heroes who uprose in Treblinka and other places, the first place it happened with young Zionist Jewish boys from Shomer Tza'ir was here. I come here today to remember them on behalf of myself, my family, and all of us.